Hey guys, Keith here, braving the cold to bring you another brand new drone. Has a gimbal 4K, brand new one from Holy Stone. So you're gonna wanna see this. Let's do it. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it. It's good to see you. So as I mentioned in the intro, I do have a brand new drone from Holy Stone. It is the HS720G, and a G stands for gimbal. So this is a brand new release drone, and they have a 2-axis gimbal with 1-axis EIS. Now that seems to be something that's becoming more and more popular. So that way they have a full functioning gimbal with only having the mechanical on 2 axes and EIS on the 3rd. So for the most part, that's working pretty well for a lot of the manufacturers. That seems to be the way they're going to cut the cost down, because of course, cost is key. And I'll let you know what the cost is of this one a little bit later in the video, so stick around. I have a little bit of break in the weather. It's just one of those things where sometimes you get a good weather, sometimes you don't. But I thought it was really important to let you guys know about this brand new drone as soon as I could. So that being said, it does have a 4K camera, and it does do 4K 30 and 1080p 60. It does have an SD card as well, so we'll be able to get full resolution footage stored to that SD card. Also does have GPS, return home, things like that. It says it has a 26-minute battery life. Now typically, especially if it's cold or windy, we're not going to get that. Now this does have optical flow sensors, so hopefully that should give us a nice smooth flight. Even if we're not in GPS, it should be able to keep us nice and stable. And of course in GPS, if it's landing, it should give us a nice smooth landing. So we'll see how those work as well. And lastly, as I mentioned, of course, it does have some of the smart function, has an orbit, waypoints, some touch flies, things like that. Follow me. So we'll do a few of those, just make sure that the app works and that the drone responds. So because it is so darn cold, let's just get to it, test this drone out, and see how it goes. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to have to do is we're going to want to bind the controller to the drone. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to turn the remote on, but we're going to turn the remote on by hitting the red button first, holding it while we turn the on switch. Then when we turn the drone on, it will automatically connect and bind the controller to the drone. So it's searching and taking care of that. So let's go ahead and take care of that. Turn on the remote, hold the button, turn the remote on. There we go. Now it is sitting here flashing. So we're going to go ahead, turn the drone on. And I don't know if you could hear that already, but it did beep, letting us know that the controller is already bound. Now I did bind it yesterday just when I tested it out, so I expected it would be okay. Now if you look at the remote, you will see that the remote shows 2 bars up here showing that they have the drone signal and the remote signal as well. So if you see both of those bars, then you know you're in good shape. I'm going to go ahead and connect the app to the drone first, so let's do that. Now turn the Wi-Fi on here. We should see the Holy Stone, and of course there we go. Let's connected without internet, which is what we want. I know some people ask, well, geez, why don't I connect to the internet or to the cell service? You're only connecting your Wi-Fi from the phone with these types of drones, from the phone to the drone itself. That's its control mechanism when you use the Wi-Fi a lot of times. So that's why you don't want cell service and things. It isn't going to connect. You just need to have a bare bones Wi-Fi connection from your device here to the drone itself. So we're going to go ahead and calibrate this, and to calibrate it, we're going to put both these sticks down and to the right. That should enter calibration mode. There we go. Perfect. Okay, now it says up at the top, geomagnetic calibration. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to do our spin, and there is a little symbol on the remote as well. So let's go ahead and do our horizontal first. Give it 3 turns here. Okay, now we're going to go ahead, we're going to do vertical. So let's go ahead and do that. Now usually you hear a beep, and I'm not hearing a beep on this one. Okay, so we're done there. Now last thing you want to do is a lot of these, again, you want to make sure you do the gyro calibration, which is a separate step, and they don't talk about that in the manual and things. So this is kind of a pro tip for you. On a lot of these types of drones, what you're going to want to do is do down and to the left with your sticks. And when you do that, you'll notice that the back of the drone will actually have a light on it that will flash, and it's hard to see right here. But you could see it came across there calibrating, and what that does is true up your gimbal. So we're good there. So we are in really good shape. We are clear to fly here. We've got signal here. We are calibrated. We have 12 satellites, which is kind of a minimum. If you don't have really good satellite strength, that it will toilet bowl. If you're at 7 or 8, you think that would be enough satellites, but it won't. So hopefully this one's good. Now, this one seemed to have really strong signal. I connected it in the house last night just to see if it would work. And what happened was I got 14 satellites inside of the house. So that's a really good sign that they've upgraded or improved the GPS signal on here. So let's just take it for a fly, see what it does. So you tell me what this looks like. Seems like the GPS is holding here. So let's just go up, take this for a fly. That is very snappy. That thing is really moving. So I don't know if you can tell how stable the video is here, but let's just go ahead and take for a little fly. Looks real nice from what I can tell out here. And again, now this is the fast mode. Real clean video, real nice. So it's right above me here, so let's go ahead and do an orbit, see what that looks like. All right, so let's go ahead. We just went into the orbit mode and it is pulling away here. So let's go ahead and put the down a little bit so we can see it. There we are. All right. If we can see the drone going, there it is going. All right, so let's go ahead and cancel that, and then we'll do the follow me. So let's point that towards me a little bit here. We do have 17 satellites, but it does seem a little mushy here. But let's go ahead and do a follow me, see what that does here. All right, let's see how that does. Actually, looks like it's doing a pretty nice job. Well, that's interesting. It's turned around. Well, that was pretty interesting on the follow me. When I turned directions, it's kind of spun all the way around so it could follow me again rather than backing up. So it completely spun so that it could come find me. So it's doing a good job following me. Pretty interesting the way they did that. See if I can catch it here when I spin. You can see that it actually spins around to try to catch me again. Pretty nice. Not bad. Not bad. So the follow me does this thing as well. Nice. Very nice. So there's a button over here as well that is a tilt on the camera, so that's actually quite nice. It's pretty smooth as well, so that's nice. So let's go ahead and take a couple of pictures, make sure that's decent. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a fly. I'm going to see if I can run the battery out. But you can see where this one came down. I purposely let the battery run low so that I did a low battery return to home, and it did return to home. That's going to end our battery here since we only got the one battery. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the studio and then I will follow up and tell you guys a little bit about what's in the box and my final words. So let's do it. Okay, so here we are back in the studio out of that cold. So before I go into what my likes and dislikes were, let's go ahead and just show you what's in the case quick. So first, it does come in this really nice case, And it's kind of an upgrade, if you will. It looks almost like a leatherette. It feels really nice. It's not like a nylon or plasticky one. So they certainly did upgrade the case in this. Really nice, very nice. Now inside of the case, it does come with a controller, of course. Comes with a really nice controller that can hold your device. Also comes with the drone. Comes with one battery only. It does come with a set of props, a tool to install the props, and a USB-C cable for charging. And it does come with a user's manual that goes through the function and operation. So all right, so let's go through what I liked and what I didn't like. Now first, the likes. I was able to get 14 satellites, or 16 or 17 even sometimes when I was out in an open area, which for me, for the Holystone models that I've previously tested, is quite good. A lot of times I would get 8 or 9, maybe 10, but to get 16 or 17 sometimes is awesome. The reason that's really important is because if you've ever heard of the infamous toilet bowling that you'll get where the drones just start circling out of control, I have had in the past on some of the drones, and this one didn't have that at all. And I'm thinking it's because the GPS was so strong that it was able to maintain position. So that is a great bonus for this model. They did a good job with that. Now the gimbal is a 2-axis gimbal with EIS, in essence making it a 3-axis gimbal without having the mechanical mechanism for all 3. But it did work pretty well. I didn't notice any instability problems. I didn't notice where it lost the horizon tilt or anything like that. Seemed to do a pretty good job, so I have to give him credit. Gimbal, nice and stable. And it does have 4K 30 and 4K pictures, and I thought it did a pretty decent job. I only noticed one bit of softness in the lower left corner. It could have been a little smudge on the lens or a little defect on the sensor, but overall I think it looked pretty good. It didn't look smudgy or manipulated in any way. It seemed to be pretty decent, but of course, that's your decision to make. I'll put that footage up here. You guys let me know in the comments if you think that 4K 30 is good or not. I only did get about 20 minutes of battery life, even though the specs say about 26. So 20 minutes isn't bad considering the temperature was a little lower and it was quite windy, so it was struggling with the wind a little bit. So not bad. I think the controllability was pretty decent. I went out in speed number 2 and it was pretty fast and it was pretty responsive when I was out there even in the wind. Now there are some areas that I thought maybe could use some improvement. One of those was that it was a little bit spongy, and by that I mean it could get pushed around by the wind a little bit, and if you were in a close area and the wind caught it, it would kind of correct itself, but it would kind of move around a little bit while it finally caught its bearings and stabilized. If you're in a tight area with trees or obstacles and the thing is floating around a little bit when it gets bumped by the wind or when you're making a move, you have the tendency to tag something and take a propeller off. So I would say make sure you keep this model in a little bit more open area so that little bit of sponginess, a little bit of softness in the positioning doesn't cause you to crash. Also, one thing I think that could be a little better is I did go out to try to do a little bit of a range test, and I got a little over 800 feet, and I noticed it started cutting the connection in and out. So I stopped so that I could turn around and come back. And once my connection dropped from my phone to the drone, it never reconnected. Now I believe the remote was still connected, and I tried walking closer and closer to the drone. I could hear it, I could see it, but I couldn't raise the connection anymore. Now it did come back when I pushed that return to home button, so the drone was still connected to the remote. However, I lost all my FPV feed, so I didn't really know what it was doing. That I wish they would correct. If it disconnects, it needs to reconnect once you get a little bit closer to range. If you walk 50 feet or 100 feet, it should be able to reconnect so you can regain control. Now the price point I don't think is too bad. For this level of drone, it is not a super high professional end drone, but it is not a low end budget either. It's kind of in the middle. And there's a discount that Holystone was nice enough to send me. I'll put that here in the description so you guys can use that if this is something that's of interest to you. Now, of course, it only does have the one battery for that, so you have to take that into account if you want to get another battery. So overall, I think it was a good flyer and it was fun to fly. And I think kind of for that price point, I think we're in the ballpark of where the quality versus the options that it has. It's pretty full featured, really it is. I mean, to get a drone nowadays with all of the stuff that it has built in, have stability, GPS, 4K, all that kind of stuff, and it actually does a pretty good job. It doesn't lock up or do anything goofy. It's not too bad. Of course, you let me know what you guys think. Is there something that you'd consider, or is there something that you did or didn't like, or maybe you saw something that I didn't? Let me know in the comments. Always interested to hear what you guys have to say. So I really do appreciate you guys being here this long. I really do. And of course, if you learned anything new or had some fun watching the video, please click that like button. It's free, I promise. And with that, till next time and next video, good flying.